It's Wednesday, time for our weekly trip to the new zoo.
Neil Anderson joins us again live from Suamico. Good morning, Neil.
Good morning. Well, we're out here with the penguins, and I'll tell you, it's pretty exciting out here because we got a lot of penguins.
Exciting.
Exciting.
Oh, excellent, Pete. Hey, check this out. Now you got to follow me on this because this is really interesting. You know, we've got a number of penguins. You see they got different bands. We tell each individual and whatnot. They're part of an SSP program, so it's an endangered species program. Real important that they produce chicks here in the recommended pairings. So here's what we have. So you got to follow. It's kind of a shell game here. Over on the back corner over here, right in front of us, is that is Bart and Carrie. Now, Bart and Carrie were expected this year, the recommendations to double clutch. So what that means is they're going to lay the first set of eggs, and then we're going to take them and we're going to give them to another pair that isn't recommended, but they're nesting, so we want them to learn the experience, and then they'll produce a second set. So what happened then is Bart and Carrie produced the eggs. We brought them over here, and on this side over here, we have Dassin and Hannah. Well, because these guys, you know, can be real protective, sometimes the eggs, they'll crack an egg. They had one egg that was cracked. They're doing well with the other egg. So they're incubating here. We're waiting for Bart and Carrie to produce the second set of eggs. It looks like that's going to happen real soon. In the meantime, now check this guy out. See the big guy in front? That's Fat Tony. Okay, Fat Tony, he's from New Jersey. Okay, Fat Tony's from New Jersey. Pinky, she's from Baltimore. Okay. Well, they weren't supposed to be a pair, okay? But Fat Tony, you know, wanted to be with Pinky. So what they did with the recommendations, so sometimes the recommendations say, hey, you know, pair up with a different individual. These two really like each other, so they said, go ahead, let them produce. So what they did is they produced 2 eggs. Well, they only wanted to incubate 1. And that's, you know, not unusual for a first-time pair like this. So they kept kicking 1 out. Well, lo and behold, we got George and Gracie over here. So George and Gracie, they're nesting. They didn't have an egg. So we gave them one of Fat Tony and Pinky's eggs. So everybody's happy. Everybody's helping out with the Endangered Species program. So it really works out well because we're gaining experience in some pairs that haven't produced eggs, that eventually they may be called upon to, and others that are still learning, we're helping them out. And you can see that you got Bart and Carrie back here, and they had produced earlier this year Wonka, and Wonka's hanging out. You know, he doesn't know what's going on, I'm thinking. Because everybody's laying eggs, you know. This is time he's got to kind of go on his own. He's the outsider looking in, checking everything out. But it's really interesting, this program, because with this endangered species program, these particular penguins, African penguins, you know, we've lost 90% of the population out in the wild in the last 60 years. We're down to maybe about 100,000 out in the wild. That is it. So we look at the turn of the century, we're well over a couple million. So it's real important, you know, those estimates, the way they go, they could be, you know, extinct in the wild, you know, by 15 years from now. So it's real important that we have these programs and these programs work.
And Fat Tony's doing his part.
Yep.
Thanks,
Fat
Neil.
Tony's doing his part. Sounds good.
See ya.
And Pinky.